Alright boys, apologies for the delay, but we are indeed now ready to get going with this opening matchup between OpTic and G2. And it definitely should be an interesting one. Of course, I am Dean. I'm going to be your caster for today's matchups rather, as I will be also taking you through some NA games later on. But here we go, things already starting off. G2 on that T side. It is of course their map choice, so OpTic will have gone for that defensive start. And surprisingly, no defuse kit for the CTs, so it'll be interesting. G2 do of course have some utility. Their goal going to be to try and get that bomb down, which makes the retake very difficult. But here we go, aggression coming in. Shox is going to be holding for it. So a couple of players, I believe he did actually see the second. But for now, at least, OpTic going to fall back off on that aggression. So it's a bit of a tough setup. They've actually gone ahead and given up that short control. And are opting to try and hold down long instead. There we go. Smoke on short to allow for them to drop down. A smoke into the CT spawn as well. And the commitment indeed looking to now come in. You can see Yugi going to be the first point of contact. Playing from the ramp. Quick headshot comes in actually as he takes down Shox. Yugi somehow still alive for now. Actually not taken down by either of these players that have a bit of a crossfire on him. But eventually he falls and the kills just continue to go in favor of OpTic. Locking this A-bomb site down as not a single frag comes in for G2. And you can see Jax, as he was left to lurk and try and find the rotations, he's just being left in a 1-on-5. Not much time to do so either, so wouldn't expect him to find a lot in this one. Repeaks mid and realizes pretty much everyone is focused on his position. And there you have it, the final shot from Yugi. He makes it a quad kill in that round, actually. A massive hold on that A-bomb site. OpTic came in picking up the opening pistol. Again, the maps are, let me actually just go ahead and tell everyone. I'm the caster, guys, Dean. But yeah, the maps are Dust 2 being the choice of G2, Inferno being the choice of OpTic, and if needed, Nuke will be the decider. So it's definitely an interesting matchup, I was going to say. Yeah, the interesting matchup. Dust 2 being definitely favoured for G2, Inferno being favoured for OpTic. But if we do get the Nuke, I think that's one where we could see a very close game. But this is surprising. I guess it's not since they're a French team, but G2 have gone for the force buy. CZ's pretty much across the board. Bar Body, who gets a P250. Oh, hang on. They've already actually made their way up mid. This could get very dangerous. The AUG up close trying to hold it down from Snappy. He does actually find 2 kills, but as we can see, G2 finding pretty successful trades. They should be able to find the bomb plant at least now off of this. And not currently actually defuse getting the possession of any of those players remaining on the OpTic side. So this could get a little bit difficult. Still one flash and play as well. Let's see as OpTic now do prepare for this retake. Going to be actually all outside of B. No one spotting mid. Jax has the opportunity here for a big flank to come in. No one actually spotting this. He should be able to find at least 1 kill pretty much free. Tries to back away, but does actually go down. But it doesn't matter because the trades continue to go in favor of G2. And eventually Body with the final closes it out. G2 come in with a force buy. One that wasn't looking too good for them either to actually start that round off when they did lose the opening pick. But now it's instead OpTic who are put in a tough position. Are they going to force buy up? It looks like they will. See, G2 going to want to try and take this as cleanly as they can. Already some initial long control coming in. OpTic, of course, not really having the weapons to hold this down. Don't really bother to try and actually go take that control. Instead, I believe Yugi was boosted up on the short. Snapping on the scout as well. He's trying to get the initial damage in. It's always nice to see the scout around the pistols, rather. You can have that scout just find the open and damage. Makes it a little bit easier later in the round. And there we go, Yugi. Taking a very aggressive peek on short, follows it up with a bit more damage. As early into this one, I think OpTic are going to be pretty happy with what they've done. Body and Kenny both being slightly weakened up. And for now, at least, not too much control to be found for G2. They have got long, but OpTic were willing to give that up. There we go. Again, Body gets tagged up. Eventually, they should find this trade. Config made it a little bit awkward for them, but they do at least take him down without taking any casualties in the process. So this should be the commitment on towards A now. Cajun actually still somehow alive at this car. Was able to cross over with the smoke, I believe. It's lucky very quickly. Can he escape is the question and stay alive, though. Those smokes at least giving him the chance to do so. And this is bad for G2. They're actually backing off with only 30 seconds left on the clock. Shocks. If this kill, though, it pretty much opens up B. They can make this back around and in through the tunnels. Now they can just leave Shocks in mid to cut off the rotations. Body catches the aggression from Yugi on short yet again. And with the trades continuing to go in favor of G2, it is only going to be Cajun that remains. I think at this point he may just want to consider saving the CZ. Oh, and actually picks up a UMP as well. So, yeah, definitely worth carrying that into the next round. We'll give them a chance to at least try and get some damage, as there should be an eco across the board for them. 999 rounds. Yeah, that's just an ECA thing. It's played on an ECA server, so don't worry. It's not actually going to be that many rounds. I think Cajun's actually hoping he can maybe steal a rifle away. You can see going around in through the spawn towards tunnels instead. Realizes now that they have all exited through mid, sadly. Oh, and he actually does get one. It's a nice little boost in money, at least getting the extra $600. Sadly not able to pick up the AK. But overall, they can be pretty happy with that. Coming into this one, though, as I said, OpTic are going to have to take the full eco this time around. Wouldn't expect much to be purchased up. Even upgraded pistols, you can see, I believe Cajun actually just dropped that CZ over to refresh. So at least a chance for some damage to be put in. If they can keep getting a few kills, drop some rifles, keep the economy modest for G2, they'll be pretty happy with how things have gone. But let's see. Early on, G2 taking their time for that long control, and on the other hand, OpTic have gone ahead and again boosted up some control towards short. It's a couple of players in this position. Will they get a chance to do much is the question. Let's see how safe G2 are playing this right now, knowing that they're up against such a weak buy. Cajun with the UMP is actually on the bomb site. Not sure if he's peeking aggressively. Might be just hiding. Yeah, pretty much is just hiding, hoping that they'll get up close and then maybe he has a bit of a chance. But the problem is his rifles at long range are going to be heavily favored. And you can see before he even gets a chance already, 3 kills have come in favor of G2. Cajun be able to find one at least. An extra $600 yet again added to his bank. But the bomb going to go down. G2 Esports pretty much confirming their 3rd round at this point. As Refresh has been spotted. Only a CZ, not much to lose. May as well go for it, but he goes down without being able to find anything. 3-1. A pretty quick start from G2, kind of as you would expect. Of course, OpTic picked up the pistol, but lost the follow-in force buy. So now is when they're finally going to get those rifles out. The op is available for Yugi. Not much utility for him. And you can see, actually, they're not able to pull out a defuse kit. Which, again, means if they lose the bomb site, they could be in for a lot of trouble actually trying to pull off a retake. A very slow round from G2. Just holding back, maybe expect an OpTic to try and get aggressive and see if they can find an open and frag. For now, though, that's not the case. They have actually taken long this time around, though, so G2 not going to be going for it. Instead, actually, they do go for short. And this is like the one time we've seen so far that OpTic haven't had a player pushed up in this position. So they are going to be able to find that control for pretty much free. Yeah, this is the online qualifier for IEM Sydney, so both of these teams going to want to try and get that spot. A little bit risky there. Yugi actually did have a chance to try and pick up some kills, and hang on, G2 have got a player down into the CT spawn as well. They can just leave Shocks there now. He can stop the A players from rotating over, and as you can see, the commitment going to come in towards B. Body, he gets taken down very quickly. Lucky going to find a trade of his own. But Shocks also chiming in onto config means it's all onto Snappy on the bomb site. And look how quick Kenny is on the op. Takes his head straight off. And at this point, the round is pretty much over. Yugi going to get flashed in. Has a chance to try and take down Shocks, but sadly takes a lot of damage. Kenny finishes him off. And there it is. No saves going to be allowed for OpTic, as it is G2 to get a quick 4-1 start. Again, this is the map choice of G2, and statistically, they are quite heavily favored here. Someone say no caster? What do you mean? I'm definitely speaking. You made me doubt myself. I checked to see if my mic was muted. I was like, no way. But yeah, back on the pistols for OpTic here. Not a Not a round that they should have too much chance in, but if they can, again, keep getting a few kills, they've done an overall decent job actually keeping the economy relatively low for G2. True, where is Louis at? Oh, there he is. He's always here. Always modding, no matter what chat you're in, he's going to be there. There we go, though. Again, G2 taking their time, knowing they're up against those pistols mostly. Right now, a little bit of a 3-man stack coming in on short. A couple Deegs and a CZ. Config takes the very aggressive peek. Kenny was ready for it, although he didn't connect the shot the first time around. Wasn't going to miss it yet again. As mid control comes in, you can see how efficient G2 are being right now, using that utility, ensuring that they aren't putting themselves in positions where they can lose weapons and really give OpTic a chance to pick one up and get back into the round. Here we go. Seems like they've made the correct decision as well as they do make their way towards a completely open B-bomb site. Yeah, the bomb being planted. OpTic at this point may as well just, I guess, group up, see if they can get a few kills out of this one. Grab a couple exits. Not going too well so far. Lucky with some nice headshots there on towards short. As it leaves only Yugi now alive. Towards top mid. I think he's been spotted. Yeah, Kenny saw his head. That was an easy finish. All 5 survived for G2 in that round, so really beginning to build up their economy. OpTic now going to have to start picking up some gun rounds pretty consistently. Getting a few of them back to back as well. As G2 will be able to buy for at least a couple of rounds after they lose one. So here we go. Double up setup now going to be coming in between Yugi and Snappy. Is this the change that OpTic need to start getting some rounds onto the board now? Smoke goes down, so Kenny this time not able to actually spot anyone on the cross. You can see a quick start from Body. Kenny S unlucky having some decent performances as well, but it is still early days. And again, very slow from G2. Happy enough to just stick back with these defaults and feel out the defense, then make a decision about what they actually want to do. Flash towards mid. Not going to do too much. Config actually playing up close on that M4. Snappy a little bit further back on the op, so he's not completely alone on mid. He will have help if it's needed. But for now, it seems like G2 have a different plan. They want to try and get long control, also sending a player up short. And right now, at least, it is only Cajun B on long. You can see Yugi in a position on the op to watch the short cross, so he can probably come help if it's needed. Let's see, 50 seconds remaining. G2 taking their time, and it could become a little bit of an issue. Interesting boost here. Lucky up on top of the boxes, seeing if he could find anything. But yeah, not being actually given any openings now means they are going to be kind of pressured as they push forward. Time becoming an issue. They're not really too sure what they're running into as they make their way towards B. But shocks again. This is a position G2 have been exploiting so far. Config goes straight down without even being able to find any damage. And now those 2 B defenders are under so much pressure. Push coming from mid and tunnels. Let's see though, 18 seconds now. Will they be able to get that bomb down is the question. Refresh able to find one for himself, but the trades are coming back. And Lucky, even while blinded, takes down Refresh. The bomb being planted now, and as you can see with the kills continuing to go in favor of G2 across the map, it will indeed likely be that 6th round. Cajun B again, who's going to go ahead and attempt to try and save this M4 over. What's up, Dinko? Got a celebrity in the chat, guys. Dinko. Any missing. Yeah, Cajun should be able to save at least. That is a positive. G2 have the money to hunt them down if they wanted, but I don't think they can reach them in time. So yeah, with M4 at least being carried over. Could be worse, but you'd imagine in this next round, OpTic probably just going to pick up pistols and Kevlar. Cajun could drop a rifle, but I don't think the investment would really be worthwhile. Yeah, there's Refresh on a scout. Some Deegs to be brought out, so it gives them some chance again to keep doing some damage, but at this point, damage probably isn't going to be enough. You can see 3 players well above 10,000 over on the G2 side. Kenny, Lucky, and Jackson, and even then, Body, sure they have the lower money, but 7,000, 6,250. They're not really going to be worried about money anytime soon. Yellow hood. I like the yellow hood. Maybe you guys don't. It's what I play with, and I just forget to change it back to a more standard color before I start casting. There we go. Again up against the pistols. G2 has always taken their time, not wanting to give anything away. Kenny with a quick opening kill onto Yugi. Oh, that flash coming in. Could potentially catch Kenny, but no. He looked up a little bit. I think he was ready for it. Flicked down. Didn't quite connect the shot, but either way, G2 is still sitting with that man advantage for the moment. No longer the case, though. Config, we know he can be a very, very scary player, especially with that deagle in hands. There's now the commitment towards a refresh. He still has the scout to work with, and actually a little bit of a gap in the smoke. Tags up body. Slowly but surely weakening these G2 players, making it slightly easier for the pistols. And there we go. Config finds another on the dig. Can he find the hat-trick is the question. Taking his time, eventually gets it onto Lucky. And suddenly a 3v2. Can it be recovered by just Kenny S now? AK in hand. Finds it a little bit more efficient, I suppose, to take on multiple opponents. Oh, a little bit of a mistake from Refresh running into the open. What is that? 25 seconds still for Kenny to work with right now. As Snappy is being very patient. Hoping that Kenny rather will try and push forward and force the fight. That's not the case for now. Kenny actually just going to be able to find that as Snappy peeks out. A 1 versus 3 that Kenny probably should have had no right winning. Even gets his op back afterwards. That's a tough one for OpTic to lose. Again, they weren't on the actual buy round. It was just the eco with the 1 saved rifle, so not too bad, but already down 7-1. Winning that round would have been so massive for them. But here we go. Onto the buy. Double up setup coming into play. This time plenty of utility defuse kits as well. OpTic need to start picking up rounds at this point, otherwise Dust 2 is really just going to run away from them. Kenny S's knife is called Mum's credit card. I highly doubt that Kenny S needs to use his mum's credit card to buy skins. Pretty common name. You see it a lot. Probably just got the knife with that name, in all honesty. Yeah, that was a big misplay by Refresh there. He's not going to be happy about that. How that went down. Rather, was I believe trying to upgrade to a rifle, but ended up giving the chance for Kenny to get back into the round, and he took it. Here we go. Live into round number 9. Oh, okay, it doesn't do any team damage at least, so it's not a big deal. Not the net he was aiming for, though. It looks like this time G2 might actually favor towards B early on. We haven't really seen this from them, because every time they've gone B, they've taken the mid control with the majority of their players. Kenny on long. The flash is perfect to actually force him back off the angle, and a smoke to follow it up. But look at this Snappy and Refresh are getting aggressive in tunnels. Actually able to find that trade there. Lucky enough from Refresh. I'm not sure how Lucky wasn't able to actually chime in with one of his own. But somehow, Refresh falls back off and gets the safety on the bomb site with a man advantage for OpTic to work with. That's definitely something he can be pretty happy with. Config on mid, ready to try and shut down this push as well. But actually, no, it's the other way around. Kenny's too quick. 3v3 now. Push going to be commencing onto B. And again, now Kenny can actually cut off the rotations, meaning it is going to be able to refresh on this bomb site to try and hold it down pretty much on his own. 2 players to try and hold off against. Low HP. And let's see if he's going to be successful. It's the dink on towards Shocks. Eventually finds 1 kill. And at least keeps it in a winnable position with a 2v2. But we should indeed see that bomb being planted unless they try and push straight away. That's the question. Yugi taking a little bit of a fight. He's just going to be waiting now for Cajun to go ahead and wrap around in through tunnels, because he has a chance to maybe try and catch someone. If he trades weapon, though, that could be dangerous. He just goes for the Molotov instead, but hang on. Kenny is posted up on tunnels. He has an idea about this. The flash is perfect, though. Good teamwork coming in by OpTic on this retake. Suddenly, Lucky now all alone, trapped in the back corner. Hasn't been spotted as of yet, but he is half HP, meaning a pretty easy finish for either of these players. He's going to need quick headshots, and he's not able to find them. Second round for OpTic. Cajun does have the defuse kit and will have more than enough time to get that in, as Yugi ensures that he's going to at least reclaim one of the ops. There's the second op there. Yeah, Cajun gets it eventually. I was wondering because I was thinking was it not on the bomb site. There we go. 2 ops being carried over. Not too bad from OpTic, but of course they're in a position living with 2 players, having to reinvest heavily if they lose this round, which of course G2 can easily reinvest into. They get everything yet again. And OpTic will have their economy reset, so this round still being extremely important. Oh, but already Body opens it up. Look at the up! It's stuck on the wall. That is brilliant. Maybe they'll think there's someone still holding the corner. Let's see the occasion. Nice little Molotov to try and force those two players out of the corner. Smoke goes down, so it's not going to be too effective, but he does have them pinned in at the moment. Doesn't know there's two, perhaps, because the boost comes in and he gets dropped by Body. Body with a second opening kill already. Config trying to make a play to pull things back, but it's not enough with only one kill. A 4-on-2. As again, G2 Esports is looking dominant in this gun round. A quick reset perhaps to come in. Refresh has been spotted. Pinned in the corner. Molotov goes down. Spam likely to follow it up. He's still alive for now. But here we go. Jackson behind. Easy finish. 8-2. The economy of OpTic has been completely destroyed, as they do have a couple of players facing the double eco, so a force buy is quite likely. Oh, and they actually do go for the eco. Problem is, they still won't really be able to buy in the next round. Only getting $2,400, oh not $2,400, $1,900 rather, so for the 2-round loss bonus. So yeah, they'll be in a tough position because Yugi will be unable to buy, as will Config. So if they want to go for it, it'll be a little bit mismatched. Maybe have a FAMAS or two, maybe some SMGs. Already again, B-bomb site has fallen to G2. You like to see the OpTic took at least a little bit of a gamble to stack towards A, but as it says in the name, a gamble doesn't always pay off. And just nothing being found. This is just so dominant from G2. I wasn't expecting this to happen here on in really this series. I thought it was going to be overall pretty close. I did think G2 would pick up this too, just because it is statistically a much stronger map for them than it is for OpTic. Refresh, he actually just burns alive. I was going to say he's waiting a while, waiting to see if he can maybe pop out after a couple of seconds when they perhaps would have thought he wasn't in the corner and maybe stolen a kill away, but didn't work. 9-2 for G2, sitting in a pretty good position, but let's see OpTic getting onto the buy. As I said, Yugi and Config going to be put down to weaker weapons of a FAMAS and an MP5 coming out. And again, no defuse kit going to be available, and how consistently G2 have been getting onto those bomb sites, that's definitely going to be an issue. Oh, Kenny catches the opening kill, just running straight out long. Cajun had no idea and gets caught in his transition over to the long piss, so already a man advantage for G2. Bit of a risk from OpTic. They have completely given up B, but even then they haven't really got into positions to hold down A. It's more they'll be hoping to maybe try and actually get a couple kills as G2 cross over, etc. If they do commit, of course. For now, G2 again taking their time, but it looks like they are going to actually go ahead and make their way towards A. Smokes to be put down on the cross. No, they're not actually going to put down a single smoke. That's a strange approach. Refresh able to find 3 because of that. Potentially a 4th as he spams through onto Kenny and gets the dink. The nade gonna go in, but Kenny should just about escape. But this round has begun to unravel a little bit for G2. Taking their time to get up long and then not even bothering to actually try and smoke the cross is just very strange. Willing to take the fight. I guess they were feeling confident in their aim. They have been pretty dominant so far. But it would have been definitely the safer approach. There we go, 35 seconds remaining. Still going to be favoring to hit this A-bomb site eventually, but OpTic, as we can see, with all 3 players in position to try and actually help hold this down. No smoke anymore in the possession. G2, they're going to have to try and use the flash to cross over. Kenny actually catches the wallbang through the corner of the box as the peek came in. Config now a little bit afraid to try and take this fight as he begins to fall back slightly more passively. Gets a bit of damage on the cross, but Kenny now posted up, able to find Refresh. And it's all onto Config as the bomb is being planted. G2 again somehow recovering into this round. Config coming up through CT. I don't think they notice, even though he had been shooting at them a moment ago, but as you can see, Kenny is posted up ready for it. The headshot comes in from Jax as the jump peak from Config is found. 10-2, double digits for G2, and again, that's a round there that OpTic really should have been actually picking up. Just back down to the pistols. So dominant right now from G2. Of course, Inferno coming up next is the map choice of OpTic. That's a map that I would say OpTic definitely do have a good opportunity to try and pick up. And if we hit the nuke, then I think it could really go either way. So A little bit surprising that we're seeing this being so one-sided at this point, but let's see. Shock's already finding the aggression on B. Lucky finds the aggression on long as well. And within pretty much just seconds, that round is shut down. 11-2 for G2. The buy again for OpTic, but they have to make this one work. Otherwise, G2 likely looking at 13 rounds over on that T side. And of course, Dust 2 being a map that is considered to be pretty equal. Maybe slightly T-sided. Oh, you love to see it. The auto sniper in play. Plenty of money, of course. You can just trade back over to the rifle. But it's becoming a little bit desperate for OpTic. They need the 4 rounds at least here on the CT side, and then ideally the pistol to follow up on the second half. Jack's trying to aggress. Oh, actually not aggressing on B, rather. He's just sitting back for now. You can see G2 expecting the aggression to come in from OpTic, rather. They do begin to actually somewhat push in on mid. Config right now going to actually be the lone defender. There's no one to really help him at the moment. Snappy not in the window, but could probably get there pretty quickly. But he's playing above the box, so I was going to say if the smoke goes down, he could have a good vision. The shot comes in, the nade to follow it up. And although the nade only does 6 damage, Config is, of course, still pretty low at 27 health. So a little bit of an advantage early on in terms of the HP. Now G2 go ahead and change their mind. A looking to be the site that they are going to target. Long control to come in. Cajun B going to be the one to try and hold that down. Yugi on the op as well towards ramp. There we go. Flash goes in. Perfect as it blinds up Cajun B on long. You can see because of that, Yugi going to be forced to reposition himself on towards the bomb site. He can't be exposed to long. But it's going to be very tough for him now to actually try and hold this off. Shox is just sitting on short. He's just been a nuisance right now. As you can see, most of the force coming in through long. And they are doing their job. Eventually, Shox falls, but it's still going to be tough. Config. It was a nice flash, but sadly, Lucky living up to his name a little bit as the spam works out. And Snappy and Refresh want nothing to do with this right now. They're going to back off. No defuse kit, of course, a 2-on-4. They may as well save these rifles into the final round and a half to give them somewhat of a chance to try and pick up another round. You see Kenny sitting at 15-3. Body 14-7. Everyone on that G2 side right now fragging pretty efficiently. Refresh has looked okay. He had that one round where he got the triple spray down on long, of course, but it hasn't been enough. OpTic are going to have to step it up massively coming up in the second half, and then also, of course, heading on to Inferno. Let's see, though, they should be able to save. Never mind, body catches 1. Does manage to actually ensure that only 1 weapon is saved over from Snappy. So here we go. Going to be, of course, a full force buy from OpTic would have been the final round and a half, but it's not great. Couple of Ogs, from Mass, a UMP, and a Scout. Definitely could be stronger, and even when they've had the full buys, they have struggled, of course, to actually take these round wins against G2. And here we go, quick long control going to be coming in. Can they hold it down this time is the question. Config does manage to shed first blood. Molotov going to force Body somewhat into the open, and he gets taken down because of it, so a couple of big names to be claimed early on. Body, of course, being fragging extremely well. Lucky had some great rounds also. With this 5-on-3, this is the best chance we've really seen for OpTic to pick up a round in quite a while. Can they capitalize on it, though, and actually turn it into a round win is the question. Because, again, G2, you can see the teamwork is quite efficient. That flash perfect on mid. It allowed for their trade frag to come in. Kenny, actually, before the smoke blooms, is able to catch Yugi on long. And now, suddenly, B, only refresh to try and hold it down. Gets the first kill, going to reposition towards the door, and actually if he can just hold off for another couple seconds, you can see his teammates coming to help him. Config pushing through the smoke is dangerous, but he makes it work for 1, as now it's all onto Shox. Can he clutch it out at 1v2? We know he's more than capable as he hits the opening headshot, and with that the bomb is going to be planted. Cajun doesn't have a defuse kit, but he does have the positive of course, Shox not knowing where he's positioned towards, but no longer the case. The nice shoulder peek from Shox baits out the shots. As now he looks to try and hold this down, as I said. No defuse kit, of course, for Cajun, so he's going to have to get a move on. Can't really afford to take too long waiting for this kill to come to him. Going to have to hunt it down. And Shock's ready to push it, to hold for the push, rather. Does indeed find the very easy kill onto Cajun, who was not expecting Shox to have crossed over. So there you have it, 13-2 at halftime for G2. And definitely a few rounds in there that OpTic did have a good chance to pick up. For example, the 3v1 that they let slip against Kenny. That 1v2 right there against Shox. It's a little bit difficult for them. Some rounds that definitely could have gone their favor and maybe made this a little bit easier for them, but instead now, behind by 11 as they head onto that T side. Are they going to be able to get anything out of this map? Or are they going to be heading onto Inferno after a very difficult loss? What you want to see, of course, is for them to maybe pick up a few rounds, warm themselves up so that they can feel a little bit more comfortable heading onto their own map choice. And here we go. The second pistol round is indeed live. Occasion B picking up utility for OpTic. Lucky picking up a couple of flashes, rather, and a defuse kit. Smoke and play in this one. Here we go. Early on, long control going to come in pretty easily to be found. G2 instead opting to keep control as short and just have someone from that bomb site spotting down. And that is Shocks. And actually, as they push up mid as well, they're finding so much info. Refresh going to peek in and find that they're getting aggressive at least. And actually, Shocks takes a dink on the bomb site. So early on, some damage just been exchanged. Problem is, OpTic, of course, it's known that they're pretty much all in towards long, so they have begun now to kind of slow things down and potentially fall back off. Not in a position, of course, where they have to commit too soon. They do have still over a minute remaining. Oh, and it looks like they're just going to go back out long, so a little bit of a double fake. Backing off to make G2 think that maybe they were going towards B. And that has worked because, as you can see, a full rotate comes in. Refresh can actually try and come through lower. Kill comes in for Jax. If he peeks upper, he'd find a lot of info. And I think at this point they realize that it is potentially that A commitment. But yeah, overall a decent enough fake from OpTic. Problem is they lost one player and to actually cross to the bomb site, they do only have one flash. So let's see how it works out. They'll be making their way across. Jax finds another kill. Taps away and takes down Yugi as well. As it's all on the config in Occasion B. Two of the more experienced players on this lineup in a 2-on-4. The bomb at least being planted is a small positive of this. But at this point, of course, they do need round wins. Cannot afford to let this one go. And it looks like it is indeed. Jackson Kenny S going to be able to close it out very quickly. 14-2. As I said, the bomb plant being found. So maybe we'll see OpTic buy up, drop over a couple of AKs to some other players, whoever can afford them. But, yeah, right now not looking good. If they aren't able to win out this round, then, of course, map point already going to be in play for G2. Yeah, there you go. As I kind of presumed, buy up a rifle, drop it over. Surprised they only got one rifle, though. I honestly thought they'd be able to pull out two. I think Snappy would have been able to drop him, but he went for a Scout and Kevlar instead. So I guess not too bad. Cajun actually did get one, so I was correct in saying there would be two eventually. But yeah, not great. If OpTic don't win this, of course, then they're working with a much weaker investment even into the following rounds. So one that they do need to pick up. Let's see how slow OpTic are taking things. G2 should have at least some idea that the force buys come in just because of the utility being used. They are being somewhat cautious. They themselves have gone for a relatively safe buy. Even getting the op out this early on onto Kenny, of course. A couple of Augs. Presence on mid being shown by Refresh. Are they going to try and commit on this? It looks like they actually might. If he can lead the way with the AK and with that smoke now being down, that cuts off all those A players from helping. They have really long rotates, meaning Lucky and Buddy are going to have to lock this down on their own. And already, Buddy brought very low. Lucky actually playing up on the rafters, rather, I believe. The construction area. Now OpTic again, still taking things very slowly. This did kind of cost them back in that pistol round. So let's see how it goes this time around. Through the smoke, Cajun actually taken down very low. Oh, and a perfect flash from Lucky. Should be able to catch at least one kill with it, but eventually being traded on. A bit of a wide swing. G2 Shocks, rather, just Shocks. Why did I say G2 Shocks? Reading it too, literally, but yeah, there we go. Openings come in. Body falls on that B-bomb site as well. Of course, he was already down to, I believe it was 2 health, so wasn't really a lot he could do on the hold. But yeah, OpTic, they come in. They find themselves a lifeline. And maybe now they can start slowly working their way back into this. It's going to be so difficult, of course. 14 rounds in a row is what they need to take the win. If they let one go, the best they can do is overtime. So it's a very tough position for sure. But if they can at least build up some confidence for themselves, warm up into this game, pull in a few rounds at least before they take it onto Inferno, then perhaps that is a good thing. Jack's trying to find some exit frags taken down, so only the op to be saved most likely. As long as Kenny doesn't fall as well, because he is still kind of hanging around. Now it's just the 1-up for G2. Kenny tagged up early on, sadly. That was, again, a really nice flash. I think that was actually from OpTic. This should be a 4th round for OpTic to be found. Config opens it up onto Jax. Flasher around the short corner, going to allow for the peak to come in. Body going to be a pretty easy target, you would imagine. Indeed, that is the case. Kenny also being finished off, so nice little upgrade there. Snappy going to actually pick up the op. We'll give it over to Yugi eventually, but for now he's going to just keep it in his possession, as the A commitment should come in a completely open bomb site. Shocks on mid being taken down as well. And it looks like OpTic should take this pretty cleanly. Likely to maybe not lose any players at all, which is of course something they do need to do. They need to build up a bit of money, because of course if they lose one round, they're sitting, or rather they're going to be against map point already. Taking their time though. The bomb going up short. Maybe that's an opportunity for Lucky to try and catch a kill or two. Config is there ready to cover though, so it's not going to be easy. At this point, Lucky, definitely worked well for him to just save the Kevlar and CZ. Not going to be an investment in this next round from G2. They're just going to have to go for the eco. Seen someone asking, is the stream choppy? It shouldn't be choppy. I have it open right now as well, and they can seem to be running pretty smoothly for me, so that might be on your end. I think there is a setting, hang on, there's a setting in the Twitch things, I believe, that actually does make it go a little bit choppy. I'll check for you now. Terrorists win. Oh, never mind, that's not a setting anymore. There used to be like the HTML thing. Apparently, I remember if you had that on, sometimes it'd be a little bit choppy. But yeah, I'm not sure if you're having any issues. It seems fine for me. But yeah, another round for OpTic. They bring it up to 4. As we said, Lucky is at least able to save that CZ. But that's all they're really going to have. An upgraded P250 alongside it for Kenny. That's a full stack on short from G2, so maybe a chance for them to get a few kills out of this. Let's see. Maybe steal away 1 or 2 weapons, drop a couple and cause some damage. It would be nice. As we can see, not being too effective at this point. Mostly just shooting down. Lucky. Does he catch that kill and actually gets an AK? Those doors, though, being wooden now. A little bit easier for them to spam through, and eventually he will be finished off. 14-5. Slowly but surely, OpTic beginning to get some rounds back into this, but there's still 9 in the difference. And this is where G2 should find a buy. I don't know if they actually want to go for it. It looks like they do. I was thinking maybe they'd go for another eco, which is pistols and Kevlar, just because it's not a great buy. They are lacking a bit. They don't have the op. They don't have any defuse kits utility-wise. It's a little bit limited. But it's okay. So here we go. Early on into this one. Let's see what G2 can find. If OpTic take this, then again, they should be able to force them back onto the eco, likely bring it up to 7 rounds. So them comebacks can happen pretty quickly, of course, with the ecos having to come in at points, etc. Let's see what the plan is for OpTic. Similar approach to what we've seen from G2 on their D side. Take things slowly. Getting that control late on into the round, whether it be towards short or mid. Looks like they're going to be actually just for now finding short. G2 with a pretty passive setup aren't really going to be trying to actually fight this, although we do see on long, I think that's Jax who's getting a bit aggressive. Without the defuse kit, they probably do want to get a bit more aggressive so that they can hold it down, but this could be dangerous. The timing working out for Jax, actually. You can see he was able to actually creep out long. Not going to be given any chances as of now to get a kill, but may be able to do so fairly soon. Actually, it's Cajun. Yeah, turns around. He was expecting that aggression, I think, but sadly just wasn't able to make it work. Jax comes in with the opening kill, and it is G2 into this round to shed the first blood. Commitment now going to be forced towards A. They have no idea if there can be more players behind them. They have to go forward. And sadly, they're going to be running into bullets from the M4 of Kenny. Threshold, though, he gets one on mid again, being traded back. So this just isn't going too well for the T side. 15 seconds remain and a man disadvantage bomb should be planted. And Config actually continuing to find the frags. Slowly working his way back into this round for OpTic. And look at that damage as well being done. Look, he brought down low. The peek comes in. He somehow finds the headshot. And now Yugi on the bomb site pinned in. His back has been spotted. The spam gonna come in from Shocks and he will be finished off. Map point for G2. As it heads to 15-5. OpTic, the best they can do now, of course, is taking 10 rounds in a row just to send this into overtime on Dust 2. It is, of course, a best of 3, so not the end of the world if they lose this map. Inferno going to be coming up next. OpTic's choice. And if needed, of course, Nuke being the decider. Of course, OpTic can easily buy again after winning a few rounds in a row. They have everything they could ask for in this round. The Opto rifles, plenty of utility, but they need to make it work. At this point, there's no room for mistakes. Gonna have to be a flawless T side, as they cannot concede one more round. Damn, chat went mad to that shot from Lucky. Was pretty nice, very quick. If he went down, that previous round rather likely would have been won by OpTic, so it was a very crucial one indeed. But for now, let's see. OpTic, can they come back into this one again? Early on, just holding the default, getting some control towards short. And they will make a decision off of that later on about where they actually want to try and commit towards, etc. So, let's see what the plan is. That nade shouldn't really do much damage, I don't believe. Actually does on the snappy. He took a step left and directly into it. And another nade to follow it up does even more. So early on, some good HP advantage going to be coming in for G2. As with 40 seconds remaining, OpTic need to get a move on. They're still split up heavily across the map, so they're not really in positions to push forward as a team. And Shocks, what is that? You see it from Kenny's point of view as, of course, Auto Director not wanting to help me out. I'm going to have to do the observing now while I cast. That probably will not go too well, but as we can see, Yugi and Cajun, all that remain to try and save the day. It's completely fallen apart. Looks like this is indeed going to be the end of Dust 2, all onto Cajun on mid, and he's actually being flanked out right now by the MP9 and Jax. So he should be able to find that. The damage eventually goes down, but I don't think it's going to last too long for Cajun. Of course, 8 seconds, there's nothing that he can do. Can't get it towards a bomb site, and there it is. G2 taking the victory.